Jade here. I just wanted to check
No,
in
no,
and
no,
share a quick
no, not
story
that video.
about a project gig that I've been running since last weekend.
Am I muted? All right, come to us live. Okay, here we go. Hey, all right, guys. All right, so enough for the intro video. Welcome to Modern Day Thrive. Apologize for the mics going out that way, but anyways, welcome to another edition, a late edition. This is the 7:23 in the evening edition of Modern Day Thrive. I'm Dean Baker, the host. I'm gonna actually turn to my camera. I was told that if I don't connect with my audience, I'm not connecting with you. So, I'm your host, Dean Baker of Post Effects Digital Studios, the benefactor of these streams that you might see here on Facebook and YouTube and all these other places. So, with me tonight is George Weber, my counterpart here. Uh, um, George, how's your week been?
It's kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
it's par for the course for everything else that I do.
Par for the course. Our other two thrivers, Gene Culver is not with us tonight. He's traveling. He's out there creating great content for our show and his other business, which is Wealth Ripple. And Jade Rarick, she's on a special project tonight, but she did send us a video, and we're going to be watching that in a little while. So anyway, yeah, it's been a crazy night. The reason why I'm late, uh, is because I was working today. Today I actually had a gig. In fact, this is part of my pandemic update for all of us creative services people out there, camera people and streaming technicians and whatnot, people that work the conventions and whatnot. Just in the last week, it's almost like business has
Turned on.
blown up. Everything like the light switch, things have turned on, which is great, for me, as well as others that I'm working with. It's been really
Lucrative.
refreshing. It's really nice to know that there's actually the business is starting to turn on. What happens is a lot of companies that were doing maybe scheduled for doing conventions in the fall,
Mhm.
right around this time, had to pivot a little bit, when
Mhm.
they canceled them all. So, um, being that my business does a lot of webcasting, and as I am a web tech, I managed to be around when they decided, hey, maybe we should webcast our annual corporate meeting or something like that. So, great news is things are starting to come back on, or at least a pivoted version
Yeah.
of things that we're all expecting to do this fall,
Let's hope it
bef-
keeps coming.
before the pandemic.
Hmm.
And that's I was telling somebody earlier today. When something like that hits, whether it's a market crash or a recession or a any kind of bubble,
Hmm.
bursting that forces a reset, forces people to think about how much money they're spending.
Hmm.
The
Get
last,
conservative.
yeah, well, stock market crash, whatever. Creative services are usually the first, people
Yeah.
to go.
Sure.
We're the first guys. We are the guys that get axed first because, again, we're part of special projects about marketing, about,
Yeah.
and we are the first to get cut. We are the first ones to go, yeah, we don't need you for
Yeah.
however many, we
They can
just
get
canceled
by.
that show. We canceled that convention that all of you creative services, AV, web techs, anything like that,
Yeah.
you're the first to go. But the flip side of that is we're pretty top on the list to come back, so we're almost like, some of the first to come back.
Hmm.
And it's usually a gauge because the last time we had a massive crash, you know um I can recall the silence, and then of course when the silence broke, it sounded like what's been happening to me in the last week.
Whoosh.
The
Mhm.
phones are ringing and days are getting booked, and in the last week I've done 5 new webcasts, for corporate clients,
Offsite.
offsite.
Nice.
Even today, I was out at Disney, near Disney, not for Disney, but near Disney, and it was a project that we were filming, and and it was good to dust off the gear and you know put myself back to work because
Yeah.
it's been a handful of months. Not that I haven't been working, because that's why we've been here bringing this content to our loyal fans. You know, so that's my pandemic update, and the reason why I was late was because I was traveling to get here. And my thoughts were, well, maybe I should postpone tonight, and then no, hell with it. We're not trying to fit inside a certain box. If we're 20, we've been late before. Mostly maybe a technical malfunction. Well, this wasn't that.
Yeah. Not that
We
bad.
still might have a technical. Well, we kind of had a more of a button malfunction starting off. Because the sound was left up, and I don't even know what I said, but I will watch later and say, oh, did I just say something bad? I hope not. So anyway, so that's my 5-minute update. And George, what's your week been like? Same old, same old. What?
Yeah, as we know, it's the last week at the restaurant, so um, it's been really busy though. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been dead for the longest time.
Yeah,
Like, hit or miss.
yeah,
The last couple days,
yeah.
it's been really busy.
Restaurants are
Oh
are,
yeah.
are bouncing back.
I mean, they were
You
they
know,
were pretty, between deliveries and even inside because they've opened up inside. They're doing pretty good.
Saturday I was at St. Pete at their newly renovated pier, the St. Pete Pier. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you've ever been there,
Mm-mm.
but it was this weird piece of architecture that had been there for decades, and they finally went in and refurbed it. It was like an upside down pyramid sitting on a pier out in it was a big, it was kind of ugly, but I guess a lot of the people in St. Pete, and I hadn't been there in, geez, over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an image in my head, well,
What you expected?
what was the St. Pete Pier like when I was last there? And I gotta tell you, when we went there and we're checking out, I mean, I mean, it looked like another, like South Beach, like Miami.
Hmm.
I mean, there was outdoor dining. Every restaurant was dining outdoors. There was a mob of people,
Hmm.
and not a lot of them wearing masks.
Yeah.
Some were, but not a lot. And so I got to see all the new. I mean, it was really nice. It was a really nice place. Went and had some overpriced drinks on top of on, like, I think it's like the 5th floor of this, because it's this new structure. The top floor of the St. Pete Beach Pier, St. Pete Pier, and wow,
Say
a
that 10
ton.
times.
Yeah, really. So it was really neat, and yeah, 2 drinks cost me $20. Tell me
Oh,
they're not. No, it's actually like $24. So
wow.
they're good drinks. A little on the weak side, but but I can understand they're the top floor of this newly designed
I paid $5
place.
at the
Yeah.
Empire State Building for a $5 Coke, and it came in a little thing like this big.
A shot of Coke.
Yeah, about that. I was like, wow.
So, yeah, I mean, but it was nice. It was nice up top. The weather was pleasant, nice little breeze, and it just seemed like everybody was out. There
Yeah.
was a school of sailboats.
Mhm.
I guess they're teaching sailing. So there's like 15 sailboats all in a row, like little ducklings. And so, as far as St. Pete's concerned, business back as usual.
Yeah.
It's they're back. They're
People have been starving
with
for
some
so
scattered
long.
masks
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But bravo, I want to see people back. We're all grown ups now. We understand that what we do personally with our our protecting ourselves and the people around us. We're all grown up to know,
Mhm.
what we have to do, and this is part of our landscape now. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people, I, I, I find it awkward, but if it's necessary to have business open up again,
Do it.
then why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Why did it take us, 6 months, 7 months to figure out that, well, we can go back to work if we just kind of wash our hands, cover our face,
A little precaution.
and we can go back to work. Why did it take us 6 months to figure that out?
Yeah.
And our leaders, our medical leaders at least, were saying, hey, do this.
Yeah.
And then now everyone's still trying to loosen up the the belt a little bit and go, we can start opening things back up. We're all grown-ups. We all know, you know, those we love
There's some areas
need
that
to be
still aren't though.
those we love need to be protected by us, and that's all we can do.
Yeah.
I can't protect you. I'm not responsible for you. You are responsible for you and your family, your loved ones, and I'm responsible for mine. And if we all act responsible and do what we need to do, then maintain social distancing and wear a mask, and let's go back to work. That's what's going to get the economy back.
That's what the glass is for.
And I'd like to get rid of the glass, but if we need the glass here,
Yeah.
just the spit guard, because so many times I want to spit at you, and
You
so many times
you got to
you'll
make it a
say,
big
"Oh,
effort now.
George," you know, so many times I want to just spit, but no, it is a thing. We have to kind of, you know, but so that's my whole pandemic update, and my weekend update. This is what I've been doing for the last week, and it's good to see the restaurant, kicking in,
Yeah.
getting busy,
Sure.
and
They've been wanting it too.
yeah, and yeah, and I'm thrilled with that.
A lot of
you know.
businesses have a lot of ground to make up.
Well, and please don't do that to prices. Don't make
Oh, yeah,
prices
no,
go
no.
crazy. So we just couldn't afford to go out to eat if we
No,
wanted
yeah.
to.
No.
I was really borderline on paying,
You think that's why it
12
was that
bucks
way,
a
or it
drink.
was
No,
just because of
I
all
think it was.
the
I think
the
the
motif?
place. Yeah, I think it was the place we're at. It was
Okay,
just, it
yeah.
was just kind of pricey anyway.
Because our place
So,
hasn't really raised rates.
Yeah.
I mean, to make up for
no,
that.
they weren't
Yeah.
making it up. It was
Okay.
just, I was just odd because just, I,
It was the
buying.
ambiance.
It was the ambiance. Yes, it was a wonderful place. It's the top floor of the St. Pete
Here's the
Pier,
ambiance. $20.
and but they were underprepared.
Oh, I bet.
They were underprepared for the crowd. They had half the servers they needed.
Well, because
And
they've been running
people-
skeleton crews.
They've been
because they
running
needed
skeleton,
it.
but they were underprepared. They weren't expecting
Yeah.
what Saturday was going to look like Saturday afternoon at 2-3 o'clock.
Department calling
Was
people.
was
Hey, you want to come
going
in?
was going to look at. I'm sure a lot of them are going. Because the
Uh-oh.
other thing too is you don't want to piss off your patrons, and
Mhm.
all of a sudden they go, "Oh, you guys aren't prepared for us."
Yeah.
Part of being in business, yeah, and you can't predict.
Nope.
But I'm sure the manager, the owner of that restaurant bar, said, "Okay, I guess I need to start."
Yeah.
You got me one day. I was
Yeah.
ill prepared. I don't think they lost money, but you got to be careful in any business.
Yeah.
Is protecting your impression
Service level had to take some of
upon
it.
your customers,
Yeah.
because they are so not, especially in a restaurant bar type situation, customers are so not forgiving.
No.
They are not
They will
forgiving.
remember and they will write a review.
They will bad Yelp you. And I'm like, I'm not a big fan of Yelp, but nobody wants to get a bad review, but nobody will, funny thing is people won't post a good review, but they
Yeah.
sure as hell will post a bad one.
Yeah.
And I don't say that.
Sometimes they
That's
do good ones, but
sometimes I get reviews too. Sometimes I get good reviews. I don't think I've ever gotten a bad one, which knock on wood, but knock on wood, because I don't want that. Anyway, if anyone's out there and want to have a chat with us, let me throw up the phone number here. talk to us live, 407-299-8114. We're going to leave that up for a little while. Anybody at all? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody want to talk to us live? We'd be happy to hear from you. So what do you got this week, George? I'm going to stop talking for a minute.
Yeah, I kind of put together because we talked about one of the things that I think both of us do is, recycling.
Recycle.
Yeah,
Yes.
and so I kind of put together, just a couple of miscellaneous items I have because a lot of people probably don't think about.
Right.
I see them all the time. Trucks full of stuff. They go straight to the yard and just drop it off. But if you take a little bit of time to prepare it, you increase your profits.
So making side hustle money.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the show.
And it's not daily money though. It's more like longer term money, but it's well worth doing.
So it's a long game.
Yeah, it's a long game from the standpoint of you would fill up bins. I mean, I wouldn't go. If you go every day, you're going to be nickel and diming your gas tank.
In such a way that some of the apps Jade would get us into, like Fetch.
Yeah, sure.
Fetch isn't like I'm going to make money daily. Fetch is if you scan.
I'm almost at 10,000 on that.
I think I'm right around there too. Yeah. If you scan your receipts, Fetch will filter through all that information and give you points, and then you can reimburse points. So this is a long game thing. But if you wind up if you're spending a lot of money at the grocery store every month, you can build up a lot of points, and it's almost like back in the days when our parents used to clip coupons out of the newspaper.
And mine, believe it or not, is nowhere near where it could be because the stuff I buy is 1 or 2 or 3 items.
Right.
But if you have a receipt with a bunch of stuff on there, it'll actually find stuff in the receipt, and that number will go up. Because I'm almost the other one, the pig one. I can't remember the name of it, but hog something I think.
Okay.
I'm almost at the point where I can cash out the PayPal with that one, which I like.
Receipt hog, right?
Receipt hog. There you
go.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name, about and I just used it.
Hog something. Hog. Oh wait, something's weird there.
But yeah, I'm almost. I'm in 900 something. So at 1,000, I can cash out the PayPal.
Right.
It's only $5, but I'll build up those $5 all day long. I already spent the money. Why not? It didn't cost me any more to capture that receipt. So, but so those are coming along nicely. In my opinion.
Great.
I have to look at the other one again and see what the 10,000. What kind of gift cards I can get. I would rather go to PayPal if I could, but they don't have it.
I'm just going to let mine kind of keep building up. And I told somebody, and the big thing is to get your friends to use it.
Yeah,
because you can get a crap ton of points
if you just
points,
some crazy number.
I think it's like 3,000 or 4,000.
Yeah,
I was on my Fetch the other day and scanning a receipt, and then I go, the person that you had invited hasn't used it yet, and I was like, so I called her up and said, what the hell? I'm not getting my points off of you.
Yeah.
So
at least register.
But you can actually just get free points just by telling everybody on the planet to start using it as well.
Yeah.
And you can make more money doing that, and we're talking, I think you get like $1 for every with Fetch. I think the rate is you get like $1 for every 1,000 points you collect.
Sounds about right, yeah.
So if you're close to 10,000, you're about $10.
It's about $10, yeah.
So I was going through that and I realized, okay, that's good. That's something I can work with.
Sure.
The other thing, so your side hustle you've been working on is the recycling.
Recycling.
So now, what kind of things do you recycle?
Oh God, it really varies with me. Remember that time I came over here and you had a bunch of stuff you wanted to get rid of, and had that big truck.
Me out.
I cleaned you out, and it doesn't. If it's got a cord on it, I take it.
Yeah.
Because this cord is probably worth more money than the metal.
Really?
Oh yeah, because of the copper in it. So I take anything.
Now, all right. So someone's got a piece of electronics with a cord, and I've got
I broke down a power supply.
Yeah.
Actually, I broke down a power supply and a light.
And the copper. How much effort is it to get copper out of a
I don't
power
strip
cord?
the copper out of the wire, but I do strip down the copper where I can.
Okay.
I'll explain that. I'll show you in here.
You got a slideshow?
I do have a slideshow.
Go ahead and punch up his slide. There you go. So just stay here and we'll kind of go
So
slowly talk through.
Yeah, we're
it.
going to do a quick thing. So basically, this is a fluorescent light. So
Okay.
So if you see it, it's
Now
on
that
my
stuff-
table.
So if you break, I know that with fluorescent lights, let's just be, you do not want to be breathing anything.
Yeah, correct.
If you break the glass on a
Yes.
fluorescent light bulb,
Yes.
you do not. You want to be wearing protection.
Actually,
That
all
is-
recycling, you
that
want to be
is
careful.
First and
Yeah.
foremost,
Sure.
especially when you say fluorescent lights, you
Yes.
definitely have to be careful with
Yes.
those because they have a dust inside
Yes.
them that gets in your lungs and it's very bad. So what do you
Probably-
do with old stuff before throwing away? Example, cycling. How do you recycle a fluorescent light? Through the ballast?
Well, no, actually. So,
Just the cord.
yeah. So right here it's a big metal enclosure.
Yep.
With cord on it, and
Yep.
then obviously, I'm actually stepping you through piece by piece.
Nice.
When you flip it over, in my case,
We got to work on your presentation.
Well,
skills,
yeah,
but,
I guess.
hey,
This
you
was
know.
a big long thing.
I
It was kind of hard to.
I know. We're gonna get you.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
We're gonna have fun with fonts.
So
too,
so
you know.
basically, there's a few screws on the back, and just like
Yeah,
anything you're recycling,
Yeah.
start with screws.
Yeah.
Oop, your mouse.
All right,
Here.
you jump ahead. Just use the arrow button. I think you can just arrow.
Yeah, maybe
so you don't have
arrow
to
down.
There we
There we
go. There you go.
Yeah, that seems pretty jumpy.
So,
I'll go back real quick. So once you remove the screws, flip back over again, and then there's a couple plastic pieces in the side.
yeah.
There's one in this particular case. There's one plastic piece that holds the wire in. You do want to cut your cables clean. So anytime you're doing cables, you want to cut the ends off of them.
Cut
Yeah,
the ends off.
because what they'll do is
they're just three.
charge
pins
you
and
more
you're
money.
losing because they'd have to.
Yeah. So what they do is they look at it and go, well, that's not clean. So,
I know in that type of cord, there's 2 wires and a ground.
I think there's 2 wires in the
or
ground.
3
yeah.
wires.
And
There's 3
that's
wires.
a
in
thick
there.
wire too.
But if you could actually, if you cut both ends, you could probably pull the wires out.
Yeah,
You have to pull the wires out.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
But you don't. You just take the cord
I
like that.
just clip it off. Yeah, I will clip it end to end though, which
Nice.
I'll show you here in a second. So flip it back over, and this particular now the center is already unscrewed, so you can just pull the center out, which I'll show you a little bit better here. So when you flip it up again, now you start to see the wires exposed.
Right.
And then I would just cut where the circle is, just cut all the way to the end. So and that starts exposing the wires. And then once you pull it out, in this particular case, as clean as you can get it. So in my case, there is a little bit of little plastic fittings in there. You just basically rip them out.
Nice.
So I ended up with one piece of metal. And in the end, we'll see everything all together. I kind of broke it out to be what's usable, what's not.
Okay.
And then inside of the piece that we just pulled the white out is the ballast.
Yeah. Now the
And more
ballast
wires.
is just more electronics. It's
Yeah.
a thing. Those ballasts go bad after older
Sure.
lights, and they hum, and they're the reasons why your lights are humming, and then eventually they stop working. But
It's all recyclable.
So do you
Yeah.
have to open that up and go through it?
You want to get real down and dirty, you can.
Yeah.
But on my experience, and I probably will look at one of these just to see, they fill that thing with so much stuff that it's almost impossible, or it takes too long. It's not
Okay.
worth it.
So the juice is
I would-
not worth the squeeze.
In this particular case, I would
Okay.
probably say it's not, but I
So-
will throw it in a separate
So
pile
let's
and
just
take
say
it.
I had 1,000 of those ballasts sitting in
Yeah.
a bin.
Yeah.
Am I getting paid by the pound?
Yes.
So they just kind of flat in, jump in, and go.
Well, so
we'll pay you X amount of dollars for
Yeah.
every pound of crap you.
well,
bring
and
in.
it varies. Like steel is normally could be anywhere from 3 to 4 cents a pound. And I don't have it with me today, but for another time, I will bring in some of the sheets I've got from the recycle place.
Right.
I'll scan them in
Okay. Say
because they
say
tell you how they break it down.
Say in your garage you've got a couple of rotors.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Sure.
I never
From a
bothered
car?
to check them. I
Yeah.
replaced the rotors, the brake rotors,
Oh
which
yeah,
are like 10 pounds.
they're very heavy.
each.
Yeah.
They're very heavy, but it's solid steel.
Yes.
So if I had that, I'd get 4 cents a pound.
About 4 cents a pound.
So
Steel
that's-
is not by itself probably not worth the money.
Yeah.
But I don't throw steel away because I go
to
for
get
copper.
a decent number, you'd have to
Yeah.
have a few.
That's why I
thousand
have bins.
pounds. Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
carry bins because
Obviously, copper is extremely.
copper's where the money is. Yeah.
Copper. Brass. How about brass?
I think brass does pay pretty well, but I
Yeah.
don't get much of it anywhere.
Copper, brass.
Yeah, but copper is mainly what I get out of it. And here is the full breakdown. So now I have this huge wire assembly, which
Yeah.
will go in my wire pile.
Yeah.
I got all my metal over
How
here.
much you get for wire?
I gotta look because it does vary, but it pays pretty decent.
Yeah.
Like for instance,
That's
we went the other
$4.
day at work. I didn't have it as part of this, but
Yeah.
I had one box, and it was a big box.
Yeah.
I keep a box specifically for that, and we had some metal, and I'll grab the paper for that one and bring it. We got a huge box which was just wire, all stripped to the ends.
Okay.
And a bunch of metal, and we had some big stuff like big cabinets, stuff that we were throwing away.
Okay.
Our total pull for that day was $47.
Nice.
And we had a truck at work, so we were able to put it in there. The wire, I believe, paid more than the metal.
Nice.
And the metal was probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds more. So that's why you want to break it apart. But yeah, so in the picture here, I get something circled. That's all that's trash. So basically, instead of someone just taking that entire thing to the landfill and throwing it in the landfill, all we have is this little piece over here that you just really have there's no value in it, and there's nobody that recycles it anymore.
Okay.
That I've been able to find. So here's another example. We'll try to go through
Right, power supply. I know those things have lots of copper in them. But
they do.
Do you go through them, or do you just throw them in a bin?
No, so you could cut all the wires off at the end of the power supply without even opening it.
Right.
And you would get 3 cents a pound for the power supply itself.
Nice.
So if you have a lot of power supplies, which you can very easily do,
they're probably 3-4 pounds each.
They got some pretty decent weight to them. But so there's one way to look at it. You could do that. Just throw the wires in one bin, let those build up, and then just do the power supply. I open them up because I separate the metal.
Right.
And I kind of go through same.
Now aluminum.
Mm-hmm. Aluminum definitely.
Yeah, aluminum is
definitely. I definitely assume an aluminum.
The great thing about aluminum is it's light.
It is light,
which means it's not, and if you can get a decent amount of money, it's of course weight is weight. If you get paid per pound, but if it pays a higher value, then aluminum.
So when I strip the PCs at work, I take the CPU heatsink off. The CPU heatsink is aluminum, and then there's a fan attached to it.
Nice.
So I separate them, and I'll have big bins full of wires.
Okay.
But pretty basic assembly. You need a screwdriver and cutters. Generally is mostly the general 2 tools you need. Sometimes you need a hammer.
Yeah.
A little extra grease.
Do you ever do printers?
I do.
Yeah. I took apart a printer one time.
It's not the funnest thing in the world. It is probably very little.
The best way to take a printer apart is with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
I swear to you, and then even then you're still going, you're cursing this thing.
There's little pieces all over the place you got to release in order to get to this, to get to that, and you get down to nitty gritty. And
it's really 99% plastic.
Yes.
And then, but what I went in for is I like the motors inside.
Yeah.
I like the stepper motors and stuff like that because I like to invent little projects, and I actually invent projects using these little motors. So I tell you what, if you got kids in the house, you want to teach them how to do that with a 9-volt battery and a bunch of little motors from your, a 9-volt battery will power any one of these motors.
That's nice. That's
you
funny.
just kind of make a connection. Right. And I got to tell you, it's so easy to teach little kids. I mean, you can get them into robotics and stuff like that just by teaching them how to hook up a motor and go, wow, DC motor that you can actually, so you can have fun. So I wouldn't even recycle it, but I would open it up because in one printer, there's probably 4 motors.
Oh, at least.
And then a bunch of belts and pulleys and things.
Yeah.
And I've made stuff out of a printer that clearly, and I've got a printer sitting in the other room that's just, that I'm waiting for me to have a very bored day and feel destructive. And then I can actually
let some steam off.
Yeah. Let some steam off because you're not going to get much value. I think the more value you get is just the fun you could have, projects and do things with.
To be honest, it's calming for me.
Yeah.
I do it while I have totally dead time instead of, sleeping, while I'm watching TV or while I'm, doing mining on my computer and I'm waiting for something to complete. I'm probably stripping something.
Right.
I keep little small bins around, but basic, I'm just going to kind of go through it fairly quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're
interrupting you what you're doing.
No, you're fine. So it all just comes apart as soon as you start stripping the screws. And pretty self-explanatory. You got to cut a few things here and there.
Right.
Cut ends off, releases stuff. You know, and yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it looks like, you know, a lot more there than it is when it's in
And
the.
please, you know, all the plastic, if it's clean and recyclable, recycle. You're not getting paid for it, but throw it in the recycle bin. No
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
You know, if you're gonna go through this stuff, you know, just at least don't chuck the remnants into the landfill. Chances are the stuff you can't sell.
Yeah,
You should just
they may be able to do something with it.
recycle and get it to the
Sure.
proper recycling place. So
But yeah,
wow.
so
Yeah.
the what you were asking me, and this is something I would do. In the picture here, you can see that there are these big copper pieces on there. I will cut those off and strip them.
Right.
So, and that's me, you know. So I know what's copper on here. I will strip all that. And this board, believe it or not, this board, which is not a computer motherboard,
right?
They'll pay 3 cents a pound for that board. So I may be getting paid 4 cents for the. Now a power supply by itself is no money, but when I put this in my bin of other stuff,
right?
I mean, I got 12 of those fluorescent lights. I tried selling them first and couldn't.
No kidding.
So I'm like, all right, nobody wants them. So at this point, I'm going to recycle. You know, I'm not going to throw them away. So you know that stuff adds up, and then all the wire goes in another bin. I got a pretty decent bin of that going right now, and then I will cut the copper off of that and just throw all the. Now, the side note is if you're doing actual computers, those motherboards do need to go into a separate bin because you get paid a lot of money for PC motherboards, but you only get paid 3 cents for junk motherboards.
Yeah. Is there any other value to having stuff like that, old motherboards around?
You know,
if you're into, I guess if you're into creating,
sure,
like,
you could.
You know,
there's always something you could do with it, but it comes to a point in time where, you know, what are you going to do?
Right.
I mean, I got, you know, as you know, I'm trying to upgrade all my stuff to either old phones because believe it or not, phones seem to be giving me better performance than some of the computers are doing.
Right.
So you know, this laptop here, if this laptop were dead, you could take the laptop itself right to the recycle
my laptop
place.
Now.
You could take it right to the recycle place, and it pays very well.
Yeah.
So there's certain things you do want to take apart, some things you don't. I mean, you know, this thing is impossible to take apart.
Right.
And you end up with a very small board inside of it and a bunch of throwaway stuff. So, but I you know, I mean, I've come out very well. Like I said, we did $4,000 last year at work. But I have a plethora of stuff.
$4,000
$4,000
in recycling from your business.
From the business, yeah.
And then the company had kind of, what did they had you kind of be in charge of this thing?
Kind of goes into a slush fund for us to, you know, do.
So your company generated
whatever
4,000 and stuff they would just discard normally.
Yeah, normally they'll call a company and we'll haul it off and fill their truck.
And fill their truck.
And I said, dude, let me do this. You know, we'll go at lunchtime or something, and you know.
Now recently I had a phone call and you know, I get lots of kind of, in fact, even tonight we get a lot of scam likely calls here. But recently I got a call from a company that does recycling. It says, look, you know, we'll come and pick up all your stuff for you. And I
bet you will.
And we'll just take it off your hands. Do you have anything? And I'm like, no, I don't. But in fact, I told them I had just given a bunch to a friend of mine. So, but it was a business. So it's an actual business. They're calling around saying, we will come collect your stuff, you know.
It's big business. It really is.
You know, what happened? What are the things you throw away? Those battery backups, you know, UPSs.
Absolutely not. If you have any to throw them away, I will strangle you. Dude, batteries.
No, I understand.
Yeah. Batteries are a ton of money because they're very heavy.
Yeah.
I've made.
And they can get lead out of them.
I don't even care what they do with them. They pay for them. Okay. But not only that, I do strip those and take them apart. I put because they have huge copper coils in them. Huge.
Okay.
And that's where you get copper.
Right.
A microwave? Dude, I love microwaves. Microwaves.
Yeah. You're going to hate me because I put a microwave on the curve about a week ago.
Don't even tell me. I don't even want to know.
Because I updated and
huge
copper coil in that went instantly. That wasn't even there. Most of the time, you know, it's the Sunday night, you know, you had just cleaned out the garage Sunday, you put it to the curb thinking, hey, somebody wants it. You know, things don't even have to be, things can be broke and people want it. And that's the reason why is Monday morning, people get out there with their pickup trucks and they come, they come flying around, and they
I
will
bet you someone
collect.
took that, didn't they?
So you found a way. How many truckloads was $4,000?
Oh Lord.
Was it a lot? I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, but still, it
A
if
lot.
you have access to a lot of it, or if you can start a business,
Craigslist. They
you
have
know,
a free section
right.
every day,
Come
and
get
people
it.
are
Curb alert.
curb
Come
alert.
get it.
Hey, I got 6 PCs. I
I
don't
could
want them
still
anymore.
find probably 100 pounds of disposable electronics right here. Right now, I could look around and go, yeah, why is that here?
Yeah.
And this TV behind us is probably not. You can actually switch. What else is on your slide thing?
That's
Is that it?
I think that that's pretty much it.
Okay, come on back to us. There you go. Hey, we're back in the studio. So now you're not just watching George's photography skills on his,
Recycling
yeah.
doesn't pay for good cameras.
No,
It's
so
not that payable.
we're gonna work on your presentation a little bit. Your visual stimulation there. So okay, so it's not. It could be a business. It could be a
Sure.
job. It could be a side hustle.
Just a side hustle.
It definitely is picking up money. And these days, if you said, hey, there's a nickel on the ground, do you want it? Before the pandemic, people wouldn't pick it up.
Some would.
Well, some would.
I would.
The people that are thrifty.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. I'll just say that. The people that are thrifty
You calling me thrifty?
would bend over to pick up a penny or a nickel or whatever. Easy. Hey, it's free money. I'm not sure how that would be now. Would someone actually walk down the street, see a nickel, and pick it up? For you, that's like, well, that's a pound of wire.
Yeah.
That I don't have to pick up.
Yeah.
I can pick up the nickel. That's great. So, you add up the nickels at, for anything that you're doing, and it adds up to something. Well, it's already 8:00. So
we got to get Jade's video in there.
Yeah, we'll go to that next. But so that's just electronics. So anything that has wire running through it.
I love fans.
Fans, a lot of copper and fans.
A lot of copper and fans. Copper is what I go for.
Even what if you're a person that works on his cars and you've got a couple of starters.
Yes.
Starters, alternators,
yes.
batteries.
And a lot of people just take them as they are. I take them apart. My pull pump just died. Guess what's going to get taken apart?
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
The outside of that thing is huge. It's huge metal.
Is all rusted.
It's not as bad. I've had some that I just couldn't get to.
Yeah.
But what if you can actually get the centerpiece out? It's a huge metal thing,
right?
Which is not worth much, and a lot of copper.
So yeah. It's part of what we do. It's a side hustle.
Yeah.
If you're, maybe during a pandemic or a recession or something, you lose your job or you're not working, you have to get creative.
Wait, what if your company lets you
earlier in the
cans?
earlier in the year, we were talking about other things to earn some income. Selling your plasma. You're still selling plasma?
Yeah.
You go there 2 days a week?
Tomorrow I'm going.
Yeah. So and that's substantial. That's a part-time job. You could make what?
I get $330 roughly every month if I can go
$300 a month. That's if you go
about
twice
an hour
a week,
out of my time.
An hour each visit.
Each visit, correct.
So that's 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8 hours for $330. That's what? That's about $40 an hour you're getting paid.
Can't complain.
To just sit there, lay down there, and let them stick you with a needle and
pump your arms.
I did it for 2 weeks, and unfortunately, I am a bad bleeder because it's not like I wasn't able to give for some reason. When they have to put the blood back in, they take the plasma out. For some reason, my arms aren't very.
That sucks.
Aren't receiving. They're giving. I can give, more than my, but they still have to. The part of the process is they have to put it back in.
Otherwise, it's considered a blood donation.
Otherwise, it's and that's not what they do.
Yeah.
So,
or you couldn't go twice.
So they really beat my arms up, and I look like a repeat drug user. So the next visit I go there, and they look at my arms, going, "What you been doing?" And because they ask you, they screen you perpetually for if you're recreational drug users or
They want
whatever.
to know.
And then when they start looking at your arms and it's got bad track marks, it's, well, you guys did this to me, so and then
Yeah.
they put me on like a 3-month, you can't come back for like
Referral.
3 months. So, and now they've been emailing me like
I
every
had
week.
that happen to me once, and it
Yeah.
wasn't my fault. The machine, the thing that collects the blood,
Right,
broke.
right,
And as soon as that happened, they couldn't return my blood. So
Right.
I got referred. I'm like, "No," I said, "It wasn't my fault. It's yours."
so let's picture the landscape. If you could collect so many pounds of discarded electronics, if you can donate
Aluminum
plasma, if you can find are cans still made out of aluminum?
Oh yeah.
So
Your
collect
company may have a recycle can. They may not care what they do with it. They may
and-
let you collect it.
and there are so many companies. I can go up and down the street here on my street. I recycle all those plastic bottles. I recycle, but nobody does, because why? They don't have bins.
Yeah.
If they don't have bins, then people, guess what, unless you're
Just
like
put it in a
me,
bag and throw it
I'll
away.
bag them and take them home. That's going to wind up going in a bag, and I take it home because I have bins for that. So, but unfortunately they don't, which means a lot of cans go just tossed into the into the landfill, and people don't look through. So I mean, things like uh you know getting rewards off of your shopping, like Fetch, which is an app on your phone that you just scan receipts and you can actually get money back from that. Things like recycling discarded items.
I have people actually call me now before they throw stuff away.
Yeah, come get it, scoop it up.
Yeah.
So
Hey, I'm throwing away this bed frame. You want it?
that
Oh, yeah.
donating plasma. I think Jade's even brought us in earlier episodes, and we might have to dig through those again and kind of pull out some tidbits of some of the things that we can do to generate some side business whilst we're unemployed, or whilst we're on light duty at work, or whilst we just want to make a little extra money, which is absolutely key. Now, Jade, she's again, I said earlier, she's on assignment. Jade works a lot of side hustle projects, and she's Carlos. So this is me leading you into actually playing her video. Okay, so you're gonna have to you can actually start it probably as soon as I kind of give you no reason to not do it. So, but Jade is, she sent us a video a couple days ago, and I had, I looked at it. It's pretty good. She's on an assignment, and why don't we go ahead and play that video? Can we? Yes.
About a project gig that I've been running since last weekend, and tell you a little bit about how I found it, what it entails, and the gist of it. So every now and then I check periodically on Craigslist and I just search gigs as a whole, as opposed to a specific type of gig like computer gigs or event gigs. And I came across this one specific project where it said, we're looking for people to deliver books to various locations in the Orlando area. So it said that the pay rate was $20 an hour, and they were figuring it at 10 hours. So I responded because I'm familiar with running routes. There's a great program. You should check it out if you ever book routes. It's a website called Route XL, and routeXL.com, and it's great for planning routes. You just plug in the addresses that you're going to, and it'll show you the most efficient route that's the shortest time and uses the least amount of gas. So I responded to this ad, and it turns out that it's a publishing company based out of California, and they are working with a writer, and they're sending out shipments of books to various cities, 8 different cities across the United States, and they're looking for people to deliver these books. So I said, okay, well, is it just in Orlando, or would I be going to different cities, trying to get the feel for that? So they said, well, it's 20 locations, and these are the little library stops. I don't know if you've ever seen those where you give a book, take a book. So I said, okay, so 20 stops in the Orlando area. at $20 an hour. And he said, well, we're paying you for 10 hours, regardless of how long it takes you. Well, that excited me because I love working on a flat rate and being able to be efficient and get things done faster. So I said, yes, definitely sign me up as long as these locations are actually in Orlando and not, Point Siena or St. Cloud, because that can be a bit of a drive. So I received my first shipment of the booklets last weekend, and I ran my first route of 20 locations. It took me about 2.5 hours. I got the photos uploaded, and within an hour, they sent me the money through PayPal, which I thought was excellent. So I said, hey, can you guys, you need some more stuff done? So they sent me another shipment, and I got that done today in about 2.5 hours. So anyway, the breakdown on it is fantastic. The pay is quick, and I lucked out with working with an efficient client. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that well, and you kind of have to take a little bit of a risk when you accept these projects off Craigslist, but sometimes it can work out in your favor, and just like this one did. And I spoke with the publishing company again today, and they said that they have some more work that they're going to be shipping out from other writers. So I'm really excited to be a part of that because it does work around my 9 to 5, and I can kind of do it at my own pace if I want to do a couple book deliveries a day or do all 20 and just, cram it out in about 2.5 hours. So this is called route running, kind of running errands for people in different states that need stuff done in your city. So you can always check Craigslist under the gig section. I highly recommend it. But again, just be cautious because you don't necessarily know who you're working for, and you don't want to give out too much personal information as well. So the personal information they requested from me was clearly my mailing address so they could send me the shipment, and then also my email address so they could send payment. So, yep, but that's my gig for the week.
Okay, so that was Jade's update for the week. I love it when she finds things like this. Now, said she found it on Craigslist. And I have a lot of experience with Craigslist. Sometimes I know Gene were here, he'd be cringing.
I got a cooking job to Craigslist.
Gene tends to dislike Craigslist, and I'm like, no, you know what? And Craigslist has had a lot of, and there's a lot of scammers on Craigslist. So you have to be careful. Buyer beware. Don't just believe everything people tell you. Don't give out personal information.
They all don't they? eBay does. All of them does it to some degree.
There's a lot of scammers, but at least with like eBay, people have ratings that they can't control.
Yeah.
So if someone's going to scam, they're not going to get very far.
Yeah.
Much like Amazon. If you're buying things on Amazon, if you're buying things on Amazon, you got to check ratings and the people that are actually commenting past purchases. The other thing too is, she goes out and finds things, and she actually sends, when she sees something that she thinks I might be interested in, I'll get an email with a link. And she doesn't even say hi. She just kind of shoots me a link, a Craigslist link, and says, sends it to me. And of course, I haven't, haven't really seen much, but I've gotten some paid gigs on Craigslist. Mostly what I use Craigslist for is to market my studio.
Sure.
And I have for 10 years, had marketed my studio services, and that's done pretty well for me, So it's just people are there. You go where people are. You go where your audience is.
Sure.
Excuse me, Coca-Cola. That's probably the first ever of my burps on live streaming television. So anyway, let's hang on a second. Let me put the phone number in, because you never know. Someone might just be itching to call us. Jade is out doing these little side projects on top of her full-time job, on top of having a young kid in the house, on top of being a wife and a mom and and a full-time employee, she finds a way. And at the end of the month, it it's the difference between barely making ends meet and, hey, maybe we can go out to dinner one night a week, which in her case, she probably gets it paid for because that's part of one of her side gigs. She reviews restaurants, or
Yeah.
she's a mystery shopper or something like that. So we expect many more interesting little things coming from Jade, because she's out there just scouring the web looking for any side business. And I gotta tell you, that's what I love about what she can bring to the table, yes, put one in the positive check mark for Craigslist. That's a good one. Now, what else we got? Let's see. No Gene tonight, so maybe we'll some of the things I usually don't have a problem talking, but we've been on for about 50 minutes, so we're not doing too bad. Actually, we've been on for about an hour. No, about 50 minutes, I think. So
close to
yeah, 51 minutes. Yeah, I should have looked right up my streaming thing. I wish more people would chat in. We've had some. I've shared it tonight on Facebook on like 30 groups. That's what I was while you were doing. I'm listening to you, but I'm also going share right down the list. And it actually worked, because all of a sudden there were 6, 7, 8 people on our stream.
Nice.
And so it does work. So that's part of.
I actually had someone at work I gave the information to. I'll have to talk to her tomorrow and see if she actually was able to chime
in. So for a few minutes, I'm just going to talk about what we're doing here with Modern Day Thrive. Monday night, 7:00. We're here to. It's kind of an open forum. Talk about how to bring your business ideas, bring your, if you've got desires to, I really want to be self-employed. I don't want to answer to anybody. I want to run my own business. I want to invent my own better mousetrap. I want to do something that I don't have to rely on somebody else to hire me or fire me, Personally, on a personal note, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been self-employed as a freelancer, as a subcontractor, as a independent person, as just somebody who's self-employed. I've been doing this for 30 years. And, the downside is, you might think, well, I don't have to answer to anybody. I'm like, well, there's your first myth. You don't have to answer to anybody. You have to answer to everybody. So you don't have one boss, you have 100 bosses if you're lucky. And you have to please 100 people. And, the things that, that's the thing, is that one boss can't fire you. That's that's the greatest benefit of being self-employed. One, you might have 100 bosses because you have 100 clients, but not one of them can fire you. They can cease working with you. Great. And then you can replace them with somebody else. But, they can hire you, but they can't be responsible for you being fired. And that's part of the whole thing with, Modern Day Thrive is we take on side hustle things. We take on side hustles, ways to make a few extra dollars, whether it's through apps or recycling or donating plasma or this, that, and the other. We take on these things because we want to make a little extra money to pay the bills, to get out of debt, or just to help us finance our big push over into our own business, and you're about to go with your own business as well, right?
I definitely want to. I just got a little more research.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do it right, plan it right.
I want to do it right.
One of the biggest things is the SBA, the Small Business Administration, the website SBA.gov has got a lot. They're just full of good information. So they're the ones that I got my my business kind of survivor loan this summer. And as an update to that, the loan I got from them, for 2 months, I didn't hear a peep out of them. And then they started sending me monthly bills. Actually, yeah, about a bill every month. But they're not asking, the due date's not for a year.
Oh, wow.
So
Nice.
I'm seeing the bill, I'm seeing the amount, I'm seeing the payment, you know, and then it's going not due till like June 2021.
Is it due all at once though, or is
Oh
it?
no, just the monthly. Starting
Interesting.
monthly payments
Interesting.
is only beginning in next summer.
Nice.
And I don't know what's going to happen with it. I don't know if maybe they're going to forgive some of that, you know, as part of the whole
Possibly. Yeah.
get people back to work. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I don't care
Yeah.
because it was such a low interest loan, and I'm hoping that they're still offering. So anybody with a business that has had a business open in 2019, you know, you might still be able to go to SBA.gov and get a really incredibly low interest loan, and it's really helped me.
Is it like 3% or is it something?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
incredibly low percent. Plus, they structured the payments to not even, you know, if you went and got a 3% loan at a bank, they would structure your payments to pay it off in what, 5-6 years, almost
Yeah.
like a car payment or something like that.
Yeah.
This is like a 20-year,
Wow.
20 years worth of payments. So, yeah, which I don't know how. I mean, I may not live to pay it off if I pay them off monthly.
Yeah.
That might be a bad deal on their part, but
Yeah. It was, to get us through the crunch,
but you know what? If it's kind of helped, you know, get me into a new place, and I'm not just sitting here paying my bills with it.
Mhm.
You know, I'm trying to thrive through it. I'm trying to, you know, reinvest in myself and open up new services and things like that. So I'm let's see, let me make sure. I gotta check comments, make sure anybody is no comments. But I'm actually you know, doing more with the webcasts now. And this is what I want to encourage anybody, that if they want to try and get something out there, you know, and I don't care what kind of business it is. Currently right now we're streaming a multitude of chat shows, you know, for people that just have something to say and they want to say it. So they want to either come into my studio here and say it, or we managed to do it remotely. And great thing is I can control a show if you're in California or if you're in Alaska or something like that. I can control your show from any location. So this week I was controlling a webcast from Japan.
Mhm.
Yeah. Of course, it was at 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Because they're 12 hours ahead of us. So yeah, I was managing a webcast that was going on in Japan. So I'm probably rambling a lot here, but what I guess I'm getting down to is that what we're about is to try and help you reach more audience. If you have a product or a service, my service is webcasting, and guess what? I'm using webcasting to tell you more about services that might help you. Your business needs to reach an audience. Maybe it's through a website, maybe it's through a webcast, maybe it's through Facebook advertising. It's audio visual, it's pictures, a slideshow, a little instructional video, anything, That's something that I help people with, and I do this every day. So part of whatever business you're getting in, you got to be thinking about this. And much like last week when I talked about that woman, that came to me with a product that she invented, and I go, here's your best thing you can do for yourself while you're waiting on your product to be made is to learn how to pitch it, learn how to sell it, get it in, get it out, talk to people on a real level so that they're thinking you're just not reading from a script.
Yeah.
So you got to learn how to sell your service in your business. So coming up, what's next? What's on the list for you coming up? I know you're gonna eventually give us a sneak preview of your coin mining business.
Yeah, I want to do that next. I just don't know if I can get it all in by next week, or maybe I can just do a mini version of it and then do an expanded version later. That's
Sure.
probably what I'll end up doing, because I
Go.
want to show the whole flow of it.
Yeah.
Because I have a master plan
I've
of
seen
how
some,
this is working.
I've seen some
Yeah.
pre-pictures of what you're doing, and now
That's nothing though.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
sure you said you're putting up shelves so you can
Yeah.
stack all your devices on it so that they can properly mine your money.
So
That's really interesting.
I'm
That's
trying to
like,
get them off the floor.
Oh,
they
right.
They were
So-
kind of just,
okay.
I'm trying to segregate it into one area, and eventually I want to upgrade all that stuff to smaller devices.
You
so I
got to
can put
send me
more.
the app. And for those of you, just to kind of update, coin mining is an app that runs many apps that if you let your phone run, or a device that you have run this app and just runs all day, it will just put, actually it might put pennies, but pennies
add up.
And imagine if you had, if one device, if you've got an old iPod or something like that, or an iPhone or something, and you've got that mining, and it might make pennies a month, a day.
It varies. It could be
pennies a week. Now imagine
weekly.
if you have 20 of these devices.
I'm shooting for 100.
100 devices.
I'm shooting for 100.
Making pennies a week, maybe nickels or dimes or dollars. Yeah. Maybe 100 devices might make, 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks a week.
Well, and keep in mind,
yeah,
that's going into accounts that are earning interest. So I'm just looking to build those accounts that are already paying me interest. So I'll take that all day long.
Okay.
And that's, and some other interesting stuff that I just got an email on earlier, but I'll hold that.
Okay.
To the next show.
So coin mining, anything else coming down the road?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I mean, I'm doing kind of what Jade's doing.
Yeah.
From, the online standpoint, I'm looking for something to trial.
Yeah.
And if I can bring something to bed, I'll bring it in for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Gene, he's got more stuff for us that he's producing for Modern Day Thrive and for his business, which is Wealth Ripple. Wealth Ripple is I want to say it's a kind of a business incubator website. So if you're in the process of starting, building, or just keeping a business going, you might want to check out wealthripple.com. It's from what I'm hearing, it's stocked with some useful information. And then Gene's a regular fixture on the show, so he's going to be talking about a lot of things. Last week it was about setting up an online, a website based
merchant, basically.
Yeah, merchant site. So, which was really good. I was surprised and as to
the lack of stores being open.
Yeah,
it gives you
part of what we're doing as well is and what I'm bringing, and Jade's going to bring us more side hustle. You're gonna show us all these little projects that you're working on. What I'm doing is, I bring, with my business, I've got 30 years of stories, and I could easily just, much like last week, I told of a woman I just met earlier that day that I'm going to find ways to help her in her business and keeping her business, going in the right direction. But yeah, so I'm going to be giving you your, I guess probably, I don't know, 30 years of being self-employed, a creative person with, in a creative business, what I do and how I help customers reach their audience. So hopefully there's enough useful information there to come back again. So I'm going to take the phone number off because there's no reason for someone to be calling now. Wow, we've had some numbers here watching tonight, probably because I've been sharing the hell out of the thing, and I'm about all talked out. Been working all day, and it's been a hell of a week this past week. So I guess we're gonna call it a night. It's been a good night. I wasn't sure exactly how much info we had tonight, but we seem to have had enough.
We're able to make it work.
So thank you all for watching. Please
See you next week.
like, follow, and share. Like, follow, and share. This, and I said this on some of the other videos.
Comment and ask questions.
That if you comment, ask questions, if you participate in these webcasts, if you participate, it makes it more interesting for you. It makes it more interesting for us. Challenge us. And something, if you're marketing a service, go ahead and, reach through us and go, no, not that we want to get spam. We had a few people hit our YouTube page.
Spam.
They're trying to push something. Hey, you got to give them credit for trying, but
one
it's going to
happen. But you can tell the other two because they were almost identical.
It's not much different than me sharing it on sharing our webcast on 15, 20 different, Facebook groups that I'm involved in, because they're going, but I truly, honestly think that that the content that we're delivering is useful, especially nowadays when you're trying to make ends meet. So I think this is useful, and I think we are still working on our website, so please stay tuned for that. That's coming, and other treats, and just stay tuned and like, follow, and share. I cannot say that enough. If you help us out that way, if you watched, just give us a like, because I know this material can save you money. And if you could walk down the street and see a $5 bill on the ground, would you pick it up? Okay. And I think we can at least we can help you figure out that, is it worth that $5 bill? This information. I'm hoping I'm getting this information out correctly. But so anyway, that's it. That's all I got. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm going home. Thank you all for participating. George, it's been a pleasure. And let's go ahead and I will tell you what, I'm just going to take us to the logo, and you can drop the mics. Folks, have a good night. Good night.
Good night.